Scott Waits. That's some beard he's developing, isn't it?
Simon Whitlock used to be called the beard to be feared, but this is an act of wizardry, this thing. Look at it. It's resplendent. It's the only word I can think of. Now, what about the form of Waits? Because
100.
Let's face it, over the last 2 or 3 seasons, he's become still a difficult person to beat, but hasn't made an enormous impact yet. But the impact being felt by Ian
58.
White is definitely better in 2023 than it was in 2022. Maybe his Annus Horribilis.
Quite possibly. Well,
100.
we've lost a couple of seeds already. Gerwyn Price has gone out. Kevin Dukes has beaten him 6-5. And we've also lost Jose de Souza has gone out to Connor Scott 6-4. Those are the 2 big names to fall by the wayside.
140.
I get the feeling we're in for something special in Germany today. I think we're going to see some quality action throughout the day.
60.
I agree. I think something is going to pop. 2 Pro Tour Players Championship days in the next couple of days, today and tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, we have qualifiers for 2 European Tour events in early May. And when you look at the names in those qualifiers, it makes your head spin. Dimitri Vandenberg, who's in the Premier
60.
League, has to qualify. Jose de Souza, who's being eliminated this afternoon, he has to qualify. Stephen Bunting and Gerwyn Price, amongst others, like Chris Dobie, Christoph Ratajski. They've all got to try and qualify
105.
for Prague and Belgium at the start of May. I've never seen such a frenzy when it comes to the seedings in my whole career. It's baffling.
81.
It is, but it's a sign of the times now, isn't it? That, you know, not everything is guaranteed in this game. Needed the green bit, Ian White, so now he'll just tidy things up to leave himself a shot here at tops. Clips the top
25.
wire, so Waits back for a ton. A steady start.
Now he's got 85. Make that 28. And he shaves the wire
72.
of that double 14, giving Ian White a second chance at taking an early lead. And this is to break the throw.
Game shot.
Wonderfully done. And we talked about Luke Humphries off the air and how easy he made that 109 look, especially with the way he played in the second half of the game. Already in this match, I see that Ian White 16 darter looking pretty simple. I think he's got gears to find over the course of the next few months.
100.
And he would love to get back to the match play. And that's got to be the goal for White. If not, trying to get back into the winner's circle.
Yeah. Oh, 2
42.
really loose starts there from Scott Waits. He's not happy with his action, I think, in that. He missed by quite a considerable margin. And it's been a slow start for Waits. One thing you do know about Ian White,
41.
he's going to grind away, isn't he? He's going to keep chucking. Not a great visit himself, but White needs to up his ante, and well, that's a million miles away from his previous visit. That's more like it from Scott Waits.
It's really good to see a player like Ian, who is revered and really highly respected amongst the playing crop and the commentary squads around the world, because he has been that good, won multiple titles on the floor and the stage in PDC darts. Used to have this little battle going on with
140.
Michael Smith as to who had won the most events. I think Michael Smith might be winning it a little bit at the minute, considering where he's ranked. But Ian's always been a workhorse. His ability to better other people's careers
55.
through practice is very well documented, but the fact that he can now turn a corner this year and maybe improve his tally, I think it just goes to show what he's made of.
Well, you don't have the longevity that he's had in his career and play at the level he's played at if you've not got something about your game. And like you said, the signs are that after a poor period by his own standards, he's on the way back up. But Waits is going to get a chance
43.
here to break straight back. So plenty of time over this 79, but he'd like to get rid of it if possible in 2, and that's exactly what he's doing at double 11. Oh, an interesting leave. What did you make of that route of 79?
Yeah, that's pretty much the way you got to go. I think he did have the luxury, however, of going treble 13 because of the fact that White was not on a finish, so he could have maybe found himself in a better position here than double 4. The 2-time Lakeside champion could be level if he finds double 2. That's now an invitation for White to double his lead. Maybe a shot that he didn't think he was going to get.
Yeah, definitely. And that was really why I asked the question with 6 darts. Was that the way to leave double 11? Seemed a little bit strange, but needs a big 14. Topsen to hold throw. And he gets it, and that is going to hurt Scott Waits, who really made a mess, didn't he, from 79 downwards.
Yeah, you can't have 2 visits and not take it. It's as simple as that. At this level, that must go in 3 or 6 if you get that second visit. But really interesting for me that White went for treble 9. He very rarely used treble. Apart from the guys who really like tops, Wade,
100.
for instance, has utilised treble 7 and treble 9 more than any player for me in the last 10 years. But always seeing a slight change from White.
45.
And maybe one of the reasons why his form has turned is because he may have changed his game plan. We'll watch out for that.
He's in the red bit here. He'd like to fill up, give himself a great chance in this third leg. Not quite the max, but puts him 100 in front, and Waits all of a sudden. We've seen a couple of visits from him where he's missed his target by a considerable margin. That
90%.
double 2 effort springs to mind, and just looking a little bit scratchy at the moment.
Yeah, not looking particularly sharp. Even with White missing trebles. I was just about to say he doesn't miss them by much, and then he's probably
80.
thrown his worst start of the contest right there. We have got casualties when it comes to seedings. Like we mentioned, Price is gone. So he's got a bit to think about for the rest of the day before he comes back on Monday. De Souza gone, but Rob Cross gone at the hands of Ross Montgomery is a big surprise.
Wow, he was well in control of that game as well. So that is a disappointment for Rob Cross.
77.
The last time we were here, the winners were Brendan Dolan and Christoph Ratajski. I have a sneaky suspicion that somebody unexpected is going to win again today or tomorrow, because it's like throwing crumbs in the air, PDC darts at the minute, and you just don't know which pigeon's going to get the biggest crumb. Double top. He's obviously looking to leave tops
64.
a lot now. Maybe spending less time on double 16, and maybe the top doubles of 18 and 20 are going to be more fruitful for him and have been in practice.
That wasn't a bad miss, was it? What a finish in the end. It's not the way he planned to go, Scott Waits, but that big 12 did him a favour. 20 for the bullseye, and he says, look, there it is. He's back in the game.
I said that 161 from Sulevic in match 1, maybe the best finish we'll see today, but that first dart in the single 12 is possibly the most fortunate dart you might see today, because if he gets a single 9 or a 5 in the north end corner of the outside wire, that 25, he hasn't got a single to bull combination
60.
left. So that was a very, very fortunate shot for Scott, but he made the most of it.
He did indeed. It just shows you give someone a chance, they can take it. Danny Nopper
96.
through, as is Joe Cullen. Dirk van Dijvenbode, he's gone through as well. We saw that 109 average from Luke Humphries. Well, Dave Chisel went 105.52 in his 6-1 demolition of Callum Goffin. The UK Open champion Andrew Gilding is through. He's beaten Christian Kist 6-3.
It's a good win, that, considering how strong Kist has been on the Challenge Tour this season. A win and a final. Lost out yesterday in a
59.
final to Dragutin Horvat of Germany. Anybody who's been included in this field from the Challenge Tour crop,
100.
they are wanting to make an impression in the same sort of way that Scott Williams did last year. Joining a very exclusive club of only 3 players that have won one of these Players' Championship events without a tour card. Joe Mernon, Ratajski and Scott
57.
Williams last year, funnily enough, in Niederhausen in Germany. Could we get another one today?
Scott Waits just starting to find a little bit of form here.
140.
Couldn't find the last dart of a maximum. But again here, he's putting Ian White under some pressure. And White, who looked to be going okay all of a sudden, has got to smarten up his work here. And a
58.
treble-less visit means that Scott Waits 101 may get a chance to come back. If he can't do it, he'll be looking at treble 19. He gets it. Now he needs double 12 just inside. So White needs a big
89.
one.
If you like tops, the route here is without a doubt treble 18 start. So he hasn't figured out the somewhat new school way of trying to leave tops, which is 54 tops
94.
tops. But then again, by getting it at the end, he leaves one of them, but it might be too late.
That's not a bad marker for Waits,
Game
and that
shot.
is a well-used marker, and we are back level at 2-2. Waits with a throw. So after a worrying start for Waits, he didn't panic. That finish on the bull has turned it around, and he's taking care of business. Back all level here.
It's a bumpy ride.
140.
Looking to win a Players' Championship event. Ian knows that. He's had some smooth sailing over the years. I remember vividly that he beat Michael van Gerwen in a final
180.
once by 6 legs to 0. If you'd forgotten about that one, maybe you just needed to remind yourself that it happened.
60.
And over the last couple of days, we have seen Van Gerwen lose 6-0 in the Premier League for the very first time to Chris Dobie. Now, Ian, what are you up to? He went 4 perfect. Maybe I went a little
83.
soon.
Never too soon. Never too soon, Nico. Gary Anderson is 4-up in his match here in Germany.
84.
Lost to Jake Rodriguez. 4-3 down to Lee Evans. What can White produce here? And despite having another
100.
ton, gets him down to a finish. 138 for him. Scott Waits on his own throw now, finds himself on the back foot again.
Now, 177 is the magic number from that position. But
140.
you take 140 most of the time, that's for sure. Now, White on 138. He's going to go treble 20 again, isn't he? I see more players going for the 19s on 138 than any other route.
98.
There are a few routes for the 138, but 2 treble 19s for double 12 has become the most popular route. Whereas Scott Waits, who was looking to mimic John Part from the 2003 World Final,
57.
doesn't find the tops that John found.
And that was a pull, again, not for the first time. And you just look at Scott's face, he's frustrated with that. He's even more frustrated now because Ian White has stepped in. Look, I think as a player you can accept missing, but missing by that much would be a worry, wouldn't it?
And he wasn't even looking at the board when Ian White hit that tops. But he'll have heard the referee say game shot in the 5th leg. And it just makes your stomach feel a little bit sick. It's a wild one there from Ian White. But a decent start all the same.
Yeah, Jermaine Wattermina and Ryan Joyce are going to go to an 11th leg
97.
in their match. George Killington 4-4 with Tony Martinez. Luke Woodhouse is 1 leg away. He's 5-3 up over Brian Rahman.
There's some fascinating fixtures here today.
140.
I look at games like Jules Van Dongen against Florian Hempel. That's obviously going to be close, but the averages are awful. That's the kind of game I actually want to watch because someone's got to win a terrible game. But on the stream, we could be in for some really high stuff today. Gary Anderson, you mentioned, was 4-1 up on Krzysztof Kachuk of Poland. He's now 5-1 up, but
95.
Anderson's been at a very high level this season and already been in a final as well. And you just wonder if he's ready to pop here in Germany. And someone who's going to be
100.
back on the European tour as well for the first time in eternity.
Yeah. It's 1-4-1. Well, it's on. He doesn't need to take it out, but he's got double 12 for a 1-4-1. Just a little bit high.
29.
It sets up a potential 13 dart leg and more
Yeah, I think Ian scored 117 there,
Sorry.
leaving
Correction,
double
117.
12. It's what we call the professional miss there. You look at your opponent on 2 or 4. The last thing you want to do is split that double 12. So you always give it a little bit of extra height. And if it drops in, great.
95.
But if it doesn't, you'd much rather come back for double 12 than double 6. Wonderfully done from Ian. 4-2 lead and firmly the better player, the most consistent player in this match.
Yeah, and that consistency at the moment looks like it's going to get him through. Just a reminder, we've lost 3
96.
seeds so far. Gerwyn Price has gone out to Kevin Dukes. Rob Cross out 6-5 to Ross Montgomery. And Jose de Souza beaten 6-4 by Connor Scott earlier on.
93.
Right now, Mervyn King, out on board number 2, is losing 3-0 to Jurjen van der Velde. The audacity of the young man taking out the King
81.
and getting to the halfway point really quickly. That's what darts is providing at the minute. A really good mix of legendary players and young upstarts.
Yeah.
It's a great time to be a dart player and a darts fan.
Well, Richie Burnett 4-2 up over Keane Barry. Again, talking about the old experienced campaigner, the young upcoming players. He didn't look too happy, Richie, when we saw him in the airport
100.
yesterday, did he? Hope he's in a better mood today.
He's definitely not a morning person. I think he was up at something like 1:30 in the morning to get to Heathrow Airport, and that would annoy any version of Richie Burnett. Look at Whitey here, doing wonderful stuff until dart 3.
115.
He almost had too much time to think there, didn't he? And got stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, I think he was caught in 2 minds there as to whether the treble 18 or the treble 20 was the call. And sometimes you get yourself in that mode with your own rhythm where you think you're going 18s and then halfway through you change your mind and you go for the 60 and you get caught in the small 1.
That's a
134.
lovely visit to leave a 2-dart outshot, and Scott Waits is in a spot of bother here. Cameron Menz is in a spot of bother as well. He's 5-2 down to Andy Bolton.
100.
He's playing a lot of darts at the minute, Andy Bolton. He's a very, very competent spoiler.
Game
And
shot.
there you go, another tops finish for Ian White. Wonder how many times we're going to see that this afternoon. Oh, Vincent van der Voort's in a spot of bother. 4-1 down to James Hurrell.
This round 1 is effectively like the cut in golf. You cut the field in half, and the people that leave the venue after the last 1-2-8 get no money.
134.
There's a lot of debate at the minute as to whether that is the right way to go. I'd like to get your thoughts on that, Mark,
100.
because I personally think, like Barry Hearn, that if you do not win a game, you don't deserve anything. I'm quite cutthroat like that, but I just think it's the way it should be. If you win 1 game, you get 750 quid.
140.
I think that's a great reward for winning a best of 11 match. And I don't think we should reward people by turning up and then going up to average, 75 to 85.
43.
And they still get money. I don't agree with it.
Yeah, I have to say I'm with you on that. Look, it's it's professional sport, isn't it? You've got to win to get paid. I'm with you. I know it's an interesting one. Obviously, a lot of the players having to travel to this event,
125.
which obviously incurs costs. But if you're good enough, you back yourself to come here and get a win. And as you said, 1 win does pay your expenses, and you move on.
Absolutely.
41.
At 2 wins, you get to 1,250 quid, and the last 16 at £2,000 now is very fair indeed. Ian White is going to line up tops again, and he's going to have
62.
a bucket full of darts to get rid of this game.
Yeah, Scott Waits, disappointing afternoon. And the best thing about his appearance here in Hildesheim today has been his beard, sadly.
47.
Tops then for White. Look at
Yeah,
that,
shot it.
right in the middle. Couldn't have walked up to the board and put it in any cleaner. A 6-2 win for Ian White. Comprehensive stuff. Frustration for Scott Waits, but Ian White is through. Fancied by many here. He's into the last 64.